The room was packed, cameras flashing, journalists waiting for their sound bites. Then a small voice cut through the noise. "Mr. Trump, do you believe in God?" The crowd hushed. No political debates, no policies, just a child's innocent, piercing curiosity. For the first time, Donald Trump didn't have a quick answer. Silence stretched. Then his expression changed. What he said next left the entire room stunned, some wiping away tears. Was it a moment of honesty, a rare glimpse behind the persona? Or was it something more profound, something no one expected? Stay tuned. This is a story you won't forget. It was supposed to be just another rally, another speech filled with promises and applause. The former president stood tall on the stage, addressing the crowd with his usual confidence. Supporters cheered, and critics waited to pounce. Business as usual. Then in the middle of it all, a little girl, no older than 8, raised her hand. She sat quietly in the front row, clutching a small cross necklace. A microphone was handed to her, and she spoke with the innocence only a child could have. "Mr. Trump," she said, her voice soft yet clear, "do you believe in God? And what do you think he thinks about everything happening in the world?" The energy in the room shifted. This wasn't a question about politics. It wasn't about policies, polls, or elections. It was something much bigger. For the first time in a long while, Donald Trump hesitated. He looked at the girl, then at the expectant crowd. The seconds stretched longer than they should have. Some whispered, others leaned in. No one knew what to expect. Then finally he spoke. Trump exhaled, his usual bravado momentarily dimmed. "That's a big question," he admitted, his voice softer than normal. He looked at the little girl again, searching for the right words. "I've always believed in God," he said, nodding. "I've always believed that he has a plan. But sometimes, I wonder if we listen to him." A murmur rippled through the crowd. This wasn't the usual campaign rhetoric. This was different. He continued, "You see, sweetheart, the world is complicated. People fight, they hurt each other, they make mistakes. But I think God, he watches us. He sees it all. And maybe, just maybe, he's waiting for us to improve." The girl's big brown eyes didn't waver. "So, do you think he's happy with us?" she asked. Trump went quiet again. The crowd held its breath. After a long pause, he shook his head. "I don't know," he admitted. "I hope so, but I think we all have to do better. Me, everyone in this room, everyone in this country." It was an answer no one expected. Not a speech. It's not a rehearsed line. Just a moment of raw honesty. Somewhere in the crowd, a woman dabbed at her eyes. Others looked at each other as if seeing something new in the man before them. The little girl bit her lip, then smiled softly. "I think he just wants us to be kind," she said. "My mom says he loves everybody." Trump let out a small chuckle, nodding. "Your mom's a smart lady," he said. The crowd was no longer just watching a former president speak. They were witnessing something rare, a vulnerable human moment. A man in the back called, "Then why do we keep fighting each other?" Trump's expression grew serious. He turned back to the crowd. "Because we forget," he said. "We forget that we're all people first, before politics, before anything else." There was silence. Not the awkward kind, but the kind that held weight, that made people think. And then, in a moment no one expected, the little girl held out her hand. "Can I pray for you, Mr. Trump?" she asked. Gasps, whispers, even reporters, usually quick to scribble notes, looked up in shock. Trump hesitated for just a second, then slowly knelt beside her. The little girl closed her eyes, her small hands gripping Trump's. "Dear God," she said softly, "please help us all be kind. Help us remember that you love us, no matter what." When she finished, the room was silent. Then a single clap. Another. And suddenly the crowd erupted, not in political cheers, but in something more profound. Trump stood up, clearing his throat. "Thank you," he said. His voice was rough, almost choked. He looked out at the audience, then back at the little girl. "I won't forget this." The video of that moment spread like wildfire. Some called it a publicity stunt. Others said it was the most genuine thing they'd ever seen. But one thing was sure, it made people talk and think. And maybe for a brief moment, it made them believe in something bigger than politics. So what do you think? Is the world listening? If you enjoyed this story and found it thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done in this situation? Your support helps bring more eye-opening stories to life. Where are you watching this video from? Let us know in the comments.